Kevin Grogan, a former Savannah Chatham homicide detective, convicted in February of this year for driving under the influence in a two-car wreck with injuries, is threatening to sue Chatham County District Attorney DA Meg Heap and several assistants for allegedly conspiring to deprive him of civil rights and tarnishing him of his reputation in the process. Now, Kevin Grogan, through his attorney Brent Savage, also commented in the whole situation that he was a victim of conspiracy to combat the perception that the district attorney was selectively prosecuting black police officers for corruption charges and instead wanted a white officer to be prosecuted for felony police corruption charges. Now, Kevin Grogan is asking for nothing less than $280,000 to compensate him for the alleged harm in the case. Now, in response, Meg Heap, the DA, said that the defendant, who was a police officer, drove his police car while drunk and hit a civilian. The case was prosecuted, tried in front of a jury, and sentenced by a judge. His case was brought in my office by the police, as are thousands of other cases each year. Defense attorneys filed motions on behalf of their clients in every case to try to keep evidence out. Our job is to get the evidence in and eliminate irrelevant, misleading actions. Now, Savage, Kevin Grogan's attorney, stated that before formal charges were brought against Mr. Grogan on him on January the 12th, 2015, a defendant in a criminal prosecution filed a motion raising allegations that the Chatham County District Attorney Office was selectively prosecuting black police officers for police corruption felonies. And also, Mr. Grogan's attorney has some allegations towards the DA office. Among those alleged acts were Assistant District Attorney Christy Barker improperly contacted and attempted to influence two defense witnesses, Assistant U.S. Attorney Carl Conch and Dr. Jonathan Odom, in an attempt to turn Grogan's witness against him. Also, what they're alleging is that Barker falsely informed these witnesses that Mr. Grogan was given the opportunity to plead to a reduced charge of reckless driving in exchange for testifying for the state in two murder cases. Barker also informed those two witnesses that Grogan refused the officer in order to gain media attention and made similar falsehoods on the record at Grogan's trial. These false statements were made in an attempt to hurt Mr. Grogan. Also, what they're alleging at trial, Assistant District Attorney Matt Breedham falsely stated that Mr. Grogan refused to testify against a criminal defendant, and as a result, that criminal defendant was acquitted for murder. Mr. Breedham's statements were vicious and false. Also, what they're alleging is that Breeden also testified that Grogan and his attorney were offered use immunity both orally and in writing, but refused to accept the offer. Further, that Breeden's refusal to testify resulted in a defendant accused of murder walking out of the courtroom and going free. Also, what they're alleging is no documentation of such written offers exists, and Breeden's statements were contradicted by Assistant DA Jerry Rothschild and James Barnes, Grogan's former attorney. So it looks like what Mr. Grogan's attorney, Brent Savage, is trying to do, he's trying to make a diversion in the case. Like, he's really trying to put it off on different things of why Kevin Grogan was misrepresented as a bad police officer or actually a homicide detective. And, he's just really trying to squeeze the city, or actually Meg Heap in the DA's office, for almost $300,000. And also I have talked about Kevin Grogan himself in a few videos. I'll post the links of that in this video as well. You can get a better history of Kevin Grogan. You know, I don't want to go over his history in this video. I'll just link it in this video. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely trying to get over on the city. I know as of right now, he has a book out that's talking about his life as far as being involved as a Savannah Chatham police officer. From what I told, it's pretty good. Maybe I have to read it one day, you know, but you know, even though I don't like his actions as a Savannah Chatham police officer, you know, it's just one of those situations, you know, and I talked about this in the Rashad Spann video where he refused to testify in the case of Rashad Spann. And you know what, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. You know, I have that in the link in the description, you know, and he has been involved with some pretty highlighted cases that if he was to testify in those cases, you know, a lot of some homicides would have been solved or prosecuted way differently.